Back in Western New York, Ralph Wilson Stadium, the Buffalo Bills hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Just beautiful weather here in Buffalo. Temperature at 71 degrees, partly cloudy skies. That's the forecast the rest of the afternoon. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, and the rest of our CBS crew. Just the sixth time that these two teams have met. Last meeting was October 2010. Went to overtime. Baltimore 37-34 win. Flacco had 3 touchdowns in that one. Today's game being broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television. John Harbaugh turned 51 on Monday. The consistency under Harbaugh, 5 straight years in the playoffs. Only team in the NFL has done that, the Baltimore Ravens. Enter action at 2-1, and Doug Marrone in his first year as a head coach in the NFL, making the transition. Former head coach at Syracuse, born and raised in the Bronx, Lehman High School. And Marrone told us that the most important thing for the Bills is developing E.J. Manuel. Of course, winning games is a part of it, but they felt last week they went a little bit away from their philosophy, forcing Manuel to throw the ball a little too much. Buffalo won the toss. They've deferred to the second half. Baltimore receiving. Return man Deontay Thompson is dropped as he hit the 15-yard line by Marcus Easley on special teams. Joe Flacco leads the Baltimore offense after the 30-9 win against Houston last week.
And that's really the key. He's taking even more of a leadership role, including helping coach some of the younger players, especially the receivers, and off his postseason performance of last year. Harbaugh predicts Flacco will be recognized as one of the premier quarterbacks in the NFL soon.
Ball at the 17-yard line to open up. Ray Rice is in there with Vontae Leach. Rice gets the call on first down. Nothing there, a loss on the play with a penalty marker thrown at the 15. Our referee today, Jerome Boger, who worked the Super Bowl win Baltimore over San Francisco in his 8th season as a referee in the National Football League. So first play from scrimmage, we got a face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, offense, number 72. Half the distance to the goal, replay, first down.
Kelechi Osemele, in his second year, played right tackle all of last season before being moved to left guard in the playoffs. They shuffled the offensive line. It obviously worked. They went on a Super Bowl run, but Osemele called on the penalty to open things up.
And ironically, it was Bryant McKinney last week who had 2 hands to the face penalties called on him.
So back it up now inside the 10-yard line for Baltimore. Marlon Brown and Torrey Smith, the receivers. Leach the motion there. And movement.
Ball stalled. Offense, number 27. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
And it's Ray Rice who missed the game last week with that hip flexor injury. Offensive line, Marshall Yonda, what a staple he's been. Back-to-back Pro Bowls on the right side of that offensive line. Rice returns. Rice had been so durable throughout his career. Missed his first game last week since his rookie season, 2008. That ended a streak of 66 straight games, 43 consecutive starts. Baltimore moving in the wrong direction. First and 23, Rice. He's got a lane, and Rice falls forward just short of the 10. A 5-yard pickup. Osemele with a block on that left side. Defensively for the Buffalo Bills, injury to Alex Carrington, a torn quad, so he is done for the year. Alan Branch moves to the starting lineup in the 4-3 set. They have been really impressed with Kiko Alonso, the rookie out of Oregon. And in the secondary, mixing and matching, Williams is now starting at corner. No Leotis McKelvin today. McKelvin dealing with a hamstring injury. Second and 18, a 3-receiver set. Flacco underneath. Flacco hits. Marlon Brown, the rookie out of Georgia. Justin Rogers with a tackle. It's a 5-yard pickup. So these are the injuries that Buffalo's dealing with. Jarris Byrd has yet to play a game. Stephon Gilmore, same situation. McKelvin banged up with a hamstring. And Ron Brooks, who was supposed to be their 5th corner, but probably would be starting given all the other injuries. Brooks is out with a broken foot. Third and 13. Spread the field for Flacco. Look at the time Flacco has, a flick of the wrist. High throw is handled by Brown, and a first down. Joe Flacco putting it where it had to be for Brown, who's a huge target, Dan, at 6'5".
Yeah, throwing the ball high to Marlon Brown is a good idea by Flacco. He bought time and rolling out to his left. But the smart thing that Brown did right there is he knew what he had to get for the first down. He got it, then he came back to the ball to shorten the throw for Flacco.
Has he impressed you? This is a guy that was undrafted because of injury his senior year at Georgia.
Got 2 touchdowns on the year already.
New set of downs, bootleg. Flacco, a little flip for Leach. And Leach lowers the shoulder on the veteran Manny Lawson. Out of bounds. Let's talk about chemistry, Dan, because this is something you dealt with in San Diego. You had consistency at the receiver and the tight end position. What about Flacco working with new faces?
Well, the key for any offense is passing offense is for the receivers to be where the quarterback expects them, and that's what Flacco told us yesterday. It's not so much him getting comfortable with his receivers. They've got to get comfy with him and not fool him.
2nd and 8. Bernard Pierce tried to make a cut, and he was met there after the 3-yard pickup.
And one key injury for the Ravens out of the lineup today is Brandon Stokely, their slot receiver, has 9 catches on the year. Already we've seen the Ravens go to 3 and 4 wide receivers, and it appears that Dallas Clark is going to be getting some of those option routes out of the slot for the Ravens.
Stokely out with a groin injury. Of course, Jacoby Jones injured in the season opener with a knee injury. He is yet to return. 3rd and 5 now for Baltimore. Motion man is Tandon Doss, who was re-signed after the Jones injury. Penalty markers all over the field as Flacco was working out of the gun.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And that is Marshall Yonda.
Well, with the big crowd on, you've got to go with a silent count, and that's what they're doing. Watch Yonda here. He's going to look back at Flacco when he raises his leg. That's not a false start. He was tapping the center and then just getting back into his normal stance.
3rd penalty on the opening drive. Dime package now for Buffalo. 6 defensive backs on a 3rd and 10 for Baltimore. Flacco steps, fires to the sideline. It's incomplete. Tandon Doss, the intended receiver, and the Ravens will punt. Nikel Roby, the rookie out of USC, drawing the coverage.
And that's tough duty for Nikel Roby at 5'8", guarding the 6'2" Doss, but his position on that out route was absolutely perfect, and Flacco, seeing it, just let the ball go out of bounds.
Sam Cook punting, averaging 49.5 yards per punt, and Jim Leonard sure-handed. Really not a threat to break a long return, but a safe return man and a former Baltimore Raven. Leonard works the sideline. Leonard spent a year with the Ravens during the 2008 season. E.J. Manuel in his 4th NFL game. We'll talk about the Bills offense when we come back. No score, the Bills and the Ravens. Buffalo outgained last week by the Jets. 513 yards for the Jets, 328 for Buffalo. On a handoff, C.J. Spiller taking it to the 2nd level. And that was something they could not do consistently last week against the Jets in that loss. A 10-yard pickup. E.J. Manuel, first quarterback taken in the 2013 NFL Draft.
And according to wide receiver Stevie Johnson, and leading the Bills to that win over Carolina, Manuel displayed his emotions and showed just how much that win meant to him.
It'll be Spiller getting to the outside off the zigzag. The block from Lee Smith picks up 5 yards on the play. Check out the starting offense for the Buffalo Bills. Up front, Cordy Glenn. He's going to have to deal with the likes of Suggs and Doomerville today. Backs and receivers. Spiller was a little bit of a question mark, but Spiller is in there, dealing with a quad injury. Spiller again. Up the middle for Spiller and picks up 3 yards, met by Bynes and Suggs. Defensively for the Baltimore Ravens, Chris Canty, he was a question mark. Canty is playing today. Missed last week with a strained groin. Terrell Suggs continues to put up big numbers and just looks fresher, healthier, obviously, than a year ago when he was coming off the surgery. James Ihedebo, a special teams performer mostly last year, and he's really stepped forward now in the starting role at safety along with Matt Elam, the rookie out of Florida. 3rd and 2. Manuel to throw it. And Manuel has got Chandler. Scott Chandler at 6'7". An inviting target, as you put it, Dan. Daryl Smith with a tackle for Baltimore. It's a first down.
Well, here he is here, and he's going to get inside Smith and force Smith to chase him. Good move there, and then just a little push-off right there he gets away with. 14, and it's 14 yards on the play. Good start for E.J. Manuel.
Buffalo on the move. Started with the run. They're going to stick with the pass. Manuel, quick hitter. Stevie Johnson could not haul it in. E.J. Manuel, some early impressions on him with our Fouts Focus.
Well, he may be only a rookie, but his upside is huge. At 6'5", he can easily see over the oncoming pass rushers. Then watch the veteran move to get the jet safety out of the middle of the field and delivering a strike to tight end Chandler for the score. Given pass protection, Manuel will make a defense pay.
So 2nd and 10 now for Buffalo. Running play, it's Jackson. Fred Jackson lowers the helmet and picks up only a yard on the play. He walked into the meeting room. E.J. Manuel was listed at 6'4". The first thing you asked him, you really 6'4"?
Well, I almost broke my neck looking up at him.
Yeah. He's 6'5", and he came out and said he was 6'5".
Well, the combine, they always measure you down a little bit, so they measured him at 6'4 3/4". Come on. Rounded up to 6'5". He is 6'5".
Yeah, I wouldn't like the combine. I don't need the measurement going down. I need the benefit of the doubt.
I'm just glad we didn't have the combine when I was coming out. Combine, that was a tractor.
3rd and 9. We'll look at the scouting reports from that year. Here's Manuel on 3rd down. Underneath the coverage, T.J. Graham busting free. Graham up the field and brought down inside the 15. Making Lardarius Webb miss and turning it into a 26-yard hookup.
And another 3rd down conversion for the Buffalo Bills, something they've struggled with all season long. T.J. Graham, man-to-man coverage, and again, it's a crossing route. A lot of traffic in there as the tight end clears the way. But good run after the catch by T.J. Graham. And the Bills, who haven't scored at all in the first quarter of this season, are threatening now.
Buffalo is just 4 of 18 on 3rd down last week. 31% on the season, 5th worst. Driving is C.J. Spiller, brought down low by Daryl Smith. 6-yard pickup for Spiller.
This is what we talked about earlier, is the fact that Bills are committing to the run today with really traditional formations. 2 tight ends sometimes, 2 backs in the backfield. Frank Summers leading the way. And now 2 tight ends and 1 running back.
7 straight games without scoring on the opening drive. Spiller, little shake and bake. And he's met by Doomerville. Buffalo has not scored in the first quarter yet this season.
And the Ravens haven't given up a TD this year unless your name is Peyton Manning.
That does count, though, no?
There aren't many guys named Peyton Manning, are there?
Just the one. There could be like a CPA somewhere in the Midwest. 3rd and 3 now for Buffalo. Manuel slip, and he's hit from behind. Terrell Suggs. E.J. Manuel was sacked 8 times last week by the Jets, and something the Ravens certainly paid attention to in their preparation. So the field goal unit comes on.
88.5 sacks now, and just good relentless pursuit there by Suggs. Pierce had done a good job on him initially, but when Manuel couldn't get rid of the ball, he was doomed.
Dan Carpenter filling in for the rookie Dustin Hopkins. And Carpenter drills it to put Buffalo on the board. 27-yard field goal for Carpenter. And a 3-0 lead for the Bills here in the first. Look at City Hall in Niagara Square, downtown Buffalo, 3-0 lead. We're joining you today from Orchard Park, New York. Baltimore Ravens have been in the top 5 in red zone defense for 9 straight years. Didn't allow Manuel and the Bills to get the touchdown, but an impressive opening drive for Buffalo. The first points in the first quarter this season, and a 3-0 lead for the Bills. 6:11 mark of the opening quarter. Carpenter kicking it off to Deontay Thompson over his head. Ravens will have it at the 20-yard line when we come back. Remember, Baltimore did have the slow start against Houston and then put together a strong second half. I want to send along our best wishes to our friend and CBS colleague, award-winning director Bob Fishman. Bob was injured in an accident at his home earlier this week. So, Bob, we wish you all the best. Get well. We look forward to having you back very soon. 3-0 lead for Buffalo over Baltimore. 6:11 to go in this opening quarter. And the Ravens will have it at the 20-yard line. They'll open with a double tight end set with Dixon and Clark. Ray Rice is in there. We'll also see Bernard Pierce as well at that running back spot. Running play, Rice. 3-yard gain up the middle. Jay Ross in on that stop. Fantasy football fans, there's still time to get in and play with the best this season. New games are available to join today. Sign up now at cbssports.com/football. 2nd and 7 for Baltimore. Just 75 rushing yards against Houston last week. Flacco in trouble. Flacco gets out of it, and he'll flick it out of bounds. Pressure coming from the combination of Alonso and Bradham. Talented young linebackers for the Buffalo Bills.
Well, when you have a classic drop-back passer like Flacco, the pressure you want to give on him is right up the middle. Watch the 2 linebackers come, force him off his spot, if you will, and force him to throw the ball away. Good defensive call by Mike Pettin, their defensive coordinator. Perfectly executed by the 2 linebackers.
Mike Patton, formerly a coach with the Baltimore Ravens, then went with Rex Ryan to the Jets as his defensive coordinator. Dime package, Flacco, strong throw, intercepted! Picked off by Aaron Williams. Ravens turn it over.
First interception of the year by Aaron Williams. He converted safety. This is 2nd of his career. But what a huge play for the Bills. Back-to-back plays, forcing Flacco to throw the one away. And now this is just well defensed by Williams. Coming in, dropping the coverage on the outside receiver, looking for Doss on the inside. And then withstanding the collision with his teammate, setting his offense up at the 25.
So Williams the pick, the first interception for Flacco in his last 79 passes. Baltimore turns it over. Manuel making a change at the line of scrimmage. Bills take over a 1st and 10 at the Baltimore 25. Spiller in the backfield. Spiller wrapped up by Suggs. 2-yard pickup for C.J. Spiller.
And in talking to Suggs yesterday about this game, this is a type of team that is scary, because if you don't take care of business, and they're playing at home here where the Bills play very well, this game could get away from you. Right now, Ravens are not playing very well.
Ravens have given up only 15 points the last 2 weeks. No touchdowns. Manuel. It's caught. How did he catch it? Stevie Johnson. Flag down. Jimmy Smith, the corner. So Jerome Boger has been very busy here in this opening quarter. 4:50 to play. Smith, the 3rd-year corner out of Colorado, has shown some flashes. Very physical compared to Webb, who's more the speed guy. The question with Smith has been consistency.
Now the question here for the Bills, do you take the penalty, which would give you an automatic first down, or you take the catch, where they think is going to be short of the first down?
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. 5-5. Automatic first down.
So they'll move the chains.
Well, here the 2 are. Jimmy Smith is going to get the trifecta here. There's a face mask. There's illegal contact in there. Pass interference and a fabulous catch. That goes for naught, but it is a first down.
Manuel on a give. Spiller the stutter step. And Spiller carries just short of the 10-yard line. Running into a crowd. Daryl Smith involved in that stop. It's a 5-yard gain for Spiller.
And it's nothing fancy up front for the Bills. They're just going right at this Raven defense. It's only allowing 74 yards per game on the ground, which is 4th best in the league. But right now, that offensive line of Buffalo is controlling things.
Baltimore has never gone 3 straight games without giving up a touchdown. Spiller is cut down. Arthur Jones, improved play from Jones, who's really taken the next step in his 4th year. Versatile player. Loss of 2 for Buffalo. So now a 3rd and 7 for the Bills.
Yeah, Josh Bynes, the middle linebacker, came on a blitz there. That allowed Jones to get inside. Jones, a former wrestler in high school. Explosive play.
Nickel package here for Baltimore. Manuel steps up in the pocket. Manuel looking to run. And he goes down. Manuel needed a little bit more than that for the first down. They'll give him a gain of 5, and the field goal unit will come on. Baltimore again holds Buffalo in the red zone.
That's absolutely huge after the turnover to keep Buffalo out of the end zone. There's the slide by Manuel. Looks over at the down marker and says, dang it. Maybe I should have gone head first on that one.
Is that what he said?
Well, that's what I would have said.
You interpreted it. 27-yard field goal for Carpenter. Hit from 27 yards away, and he does it again to give Buffalo a 6-0 lead. 3:03 left to play in this first quarter. So Joe Flacco intercepted by Williams, but Buffalo can only turn it into 3 points here in the first. Sunny skies here in Buffalo and a 6-0 lead for the Bills as Carpenter will kick it off to Deontay Thompson of the Baltimore Ravens. Another deep kick and another touchback. Ravens will have it at the 20-yard line. Coming up tonight, it's the season premiere of The Amazing Race. 11 teams take off on the adventure of a lifetime. New race begins tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS.
Yeah, the Ravens very fortunate to just trail by 6 points here. Still a lot of time left to go first quarter, but offensively they just look out of sync.
Dan, the interaction 30th in the NFL in yards per game, 308 yards per game. Only Jacksonville and Tampa Bay have been worse so far with those numbers. Here's Bernard Pierce, and he is stacked up. Alan Branch leading the charge, a gain of 1. NFL Today update. We head to New York. JB and Dan Marino.
Ian, Pittsburgh answers back. And Le'Veon Bell, 8-yard touchdown. His first touchdown in the career for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 8 plays, 75 yards. Minnesota's up 10-7. Back to Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts.
And guys, Pittsburgh needed a jolt in that running attack. And the Michigan State product, Le'Veon Bell, finally healthy and ready to contribute. 2nd and 9. 3 receivers set. Pierce again. And there's nothing there for Pierce. It's a 2-yard pickup. Marcel Darius combining with Alan Branch to bring down Pierce, the 2nd-year running back from Temple. AFC North, Cincinnati and Baltimore, both at 2-1. Cleveland got the first win for Rob Chudzinski last week, and Pittsburgh still looking for its first victory of the season.
Yeah, big game between Cincinnati and Cleveland today.
3rd and 7 now. Rice will shift out of the backfield, and Flacco will operate out of the gun. Rush is coming. Flacco gets rid of it. It's caught by Das, and Das is not going to get to the marker. 3-yard pickup. Justin Rogers helping out along that sideline, and the Buffalo defense has been fired up so far.
You talked about all the injuries in the secondary for the Bills, and what Mike Pettin admitted is that we're going to have to play more zone. And they got the interception today by Williams on a zone that time on 3rd and long. Another zone defense stop the Ravens way short of the first down.
Sam Cook, his second punt. Jim Leonard waiting for it. This one angled towards the sideline. Leonard will bring it in cleanly, just short of the 30-yard line. It's a 44-yard punt. So far, the secondary a step forward for Buffalo. They've got a 6-0 lead against the defending champs. Very impressed with E.J. Manuel in our sit-down with the rookie. He said, look, I'm one of 32 guys that gets to do this every week, play quarterback in the NFL. Very appreciative of the opportunity. I know it's not always going to be perfect, but I do feel like I'm learning. And here in week 4, good start for Manuel and the Bills, a 6-0 lead. Manuel throwing. Great grab by Woods. Rookie to rookie, Florida State to USC. Lardarius Webb there in coverage, 19-yard hookup.
And what Manuel and the Bills have been able to do is beat man-to-man coverage here. Lardarius Webb has tight coverage, but the ball out in front of Woods, he can make the nice diving catch with Webb on his back.
And the Bills on the move once again. Out near midfield, Manuel the play fake. Manuel spins out of trouble. Able to find Jackson, a safety valve for him with a penalty marker down. Back of the 39. It's a 3-yard pass and catch. Josh Bynes in on the stop. Jerome Boger will deal with the penalty.
Yeah, it's going to be a personal foul against the Buffalo Bills.
And that'll be their first penalty of the day.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 77. Go to the head of a player already on the ground. 15-yard penalty, replay, first down.
It's the second-year left tackle, Cordy Glenn.
No play, first and 25.
And that is a crushing penalty considering Buffalo had a little bit of momentum here.
Here is Cordy Glenn, all 6'6", 345 of them. And McPhee goes down because of the trip there, and then the body slam could have got him twice.
So back it all the way up now inside the 35. 17 seconds remain in this opening quarter. Bills last week settled for field goals when they got to the red zone against the Jets. Ultimately cost them in the 27-20 loss to New York. And so far, same theme. Manuel with a rush coming. Low throw. Woods has got it. Robert Woods. Excellent hands, a polished route runner, second-round pick, and All-American for the Trojans. 11-yard pass play. End of the first quarter. The second quarter is coming up from Buffalo. The NFL on CBS. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, the rest of our CBS crew. Orchard Park, New York. Buffalo with a 6-0 lead on Baltimore as we start the second quarter. 104 yards in that first quarter for Buffalo. Now facing a second and 14.
Yeah, and the young quarterback, 4 of 5 for 70 yards. That last pass completion to Woods, he beat the blitz, stood in the pocket strong, and delivered a fine throw.
What's been different about this Buffalo offense?
Well, you're seeing it right now. He's under center most of the day.
Manuel fumbles the football. Trying to jump on it. Glenn could not, and it cost him. Chris Canty knocked it free. And the Baltimore Ravens take over with Williams pouncing on it. Brandon Williams making his NFL debut out of Missouri Southern State with the recovery.
Yeah, this is the second fumble, the second time that Manuel has lost a fumble, carrying the ball down on his hip, and Glenn just rolled right over the top of it. Brandon Williams comes in, and he makes sure of the recovery. A huge turnover for this Raven defense.
So Baltimore now has it at the 27-yard line. That internal clock for E.J. Manuel. Time is ticking away, and the Ravens watched the tape from last week, what the Jets were able to do against the Bills' offensive line. Shotgun for Flacco. Looking to strike. Flacco, sideline throw is incomplete. Marlon Brown streaking. Manny Lawson was over there, the linebacker in tight coverage. Lawson at 6'5".
Now Lawson is such a valuable player for this defense. Mike Pettin says we got to find a way to keep him on the field more, because it plays like that. I mean, he's running stride for stride down the field with a wide receiver.
We asked Lawson about Pettin. He said, look, he builds the scheme around the players, not the other way around. That's the way it should be. Flacco out of the pocket. Flacco makes the connection with Dallas Clark, and he bangs his way to the 10-yard line. 16 yards on the pass play, getting the tight end Clark involved. How valuable will that relationship be moving forward, Flacco and Clark?
Well, Clark has got such a great feel for how to get away from defenders. Left side of the screen here, and he's just going to hide out on the sidelines as Flacco looking all the way for him. Goes right to the down marker, makes the catch, picks up the first down.
First and goal, ball is at the 10. Buffalo with a 6-0 lead. Fake the handoff. Flacco, the strike. Marlon Brown has got it. Touchdown, Baltimore. Terrific grab by the rookie. Leonard and Rogers, the two defenders, and it's Brown who wins the battle.
Well, at 6'5" and with a wingspan, watch his ability to snatch this ball out of the air. Flacco talked about his strong hands. Good evidence right there as he makes the catch and withstands the hit from Rogers for the score.
Torn ACL last year at Georgia. That cost him in the draft. He was signed as an undrafted free agent, a big-time high school player, Mr. Football in the state of Tennessee back in 2008. And Marlon Brown is making a name for himself early in his rookie career. Manuel the fumble. Glenn could not scoop it up. Williams did for Baltimore, and it leads to this opportunity off of play action. Flacco to Brown. Brown's third touchdown in 4 games as a pro. 3 plays, 27 yards off of the turnover. There's Brown, number 14, who caught the 10-yard touchdown pass from Joe Flacco. And Baltimore, just like that, has got a 7-6 lead on Buffalo.
Well, defensively, they've held the Bills twice to a couple of field goals, and how big is that now after the turnover and the touchdown?
Booming kick from Justin Tucker over the head of Marcus Easley. Bills will have it at the 20-yard line. Saturday, the Home Depot College football on CBS kicks off 11:30 Eastern. Air Force against Navy, and then after college football today, it's a key SEC matchup. Georgia meets Tennessee. That's all next Saturday right here on CBS Sports.
It'll be interesting to see how E.J. Manuel responds after the turnover there and the touchdown by the Ravens. But again, under center, very little shotgun today for Manuel.
Double tight end set on the pitch. T.J. Graham, stutter step. And Graham accelerating. Now this is something Buffalo has done. They have focused on getting faster and acquiring speed. They've looked the track and field route to get some players and playmakers in here. C.J. Spiller, a 3-time All-American at Clemson. T.J. Graham, second-team All-American at NC State. Robert Woods, a high school talented track and field athlete. And Marquise Goodwin, who is currently injured. Goodwin, an Olympian in the long jump representing the United States. Manuel will keep it, and Manuel takes a shot. Manuel is down, and now he's up.
Yeah, Jimmy Smith came in there. Manuel a little late on his slide. Another thing a young quarterback has to learn is timing. We saw him come up short on a slide earlier for a possible first down on third down. That time a pretty good pop from Jimmy Smith.
2nd and 5 now for Buffalo. Spiller. The cut by Spiller. Couldn't quite get to the second level. 4-yard pickup. McPhee with the tackle. Let's head to New York. NFL Today update. JB and Dan Marino.
Dan, you taught me this is dropping it in the basket.
Perfect pass. Eli Manning drops back looking for Victor Cruz. Look at this, wide open down the sideline. 69 yards for a touchdown. Victor Cruz, 7-7. Giants, Kansas City.
I'm sure all of you quarterbacks can appreciate that, including Dan Fouts.
Yeah, you throw it back to his JB. Dan's got a smile on his face. All quarterbacks, they just share the joy in the touchdown pass. No gain up the middle for C.J. Spiller.
Now the Bills are committing to the run today. That run by T.J. Graham of 14 yards, that's the longest run the Ravens have given up in the first 3 games.
Tandon Doss is the return man. Doss had an 82-yard punt return for a touchdown. Sean Powell, the second-year punter out of Florida State, averaging 47.5 yards per punt so far in the young season. Doss standing at his own 10-yard line. Doss moves forward. Risky play by Doss. And he is spun down at the 18-yard line by Easley on special teams. 39-yard punt. Nothing there for Doss.
You know, Doss is a little greedy. He went 82 last week. He thinking he may go all the way this time.
7-6 lead for Baltimore over Buffalo. Ravens have it at their own 18-yard line. Flacco off his back foot. Deep ball up for grabs. Incomplete. Aaron Williams stepping in front of Torrey Smith, and Williams is banged up.
They can ill afford to lose number 23. Looks like he has a problem with his shoulder as he hit the turf. Flacco under real pressure there. That forced the ball to come up just a little bit short. That allowed Williams to make the play on the ball, but now right down on his right shoulder.
Flacco took a hit as well. This recurring theme for Buffalo, troubling. Flacco took that shot from Branch. Williams is down. Aaron Williams walked off on his own. He's on the Buffalo sideline right now. Nikel Roby comes in for him. Flacco zips it to the outside, and it's caught by Deontay Thompson, short of a first down. That covers 8 yards.
And back into the game goes Aaron Williams. So he shakes off this injury. Watch him come down right on his right shoulder as he breaks up the pass and immediately grabs for that shoulder. But he's back out there. Tough guy.
Williams in his third year out of Texas, a second-round draft pick in 2011. Had been playing corner his first 2 years. They moved him to safety, made that transition smoothly, but he's back to corner because of injuries. 3rd and 2. Flacco. Incomplete in the area of Dallas Clark. Denoris Searcy over there to get a hand on it. And Baltimore will punt.
It's great to see Aaron Williams back in there because the Bills are basically running out of defensive backs. 4 were unable to even suit up today.
Through 3 games last year, Baltimore averaged 33 points per game. This year, just under 24 points per game. The big difference has come defensively. When you flip it, they were allowing 400 yards per game through 3 games. It's down to 344 through 3 games this year. Leonard, the spin move. And Leonard is hit forward on special teams by Michael Huff. 52-yard punt, 8-yard return for the former Raven. And a 7-6 lead for the Ravens. Back at Ralph Wilson Stadium, which opened back in August of 1973. E.J. Manuel and the Buffalo Bills offense back on the field. Line of scrimmage will be the 30. This is a very young Bills roster. 2 players on offense over the age of 30, Jackson and Pierce. 2 players on defense over the age of 30, Williams and Leonard. They are looking at the thigh of Lardarius Webb. His return is questionable for Baltimore. Running play, it's Spiller. Spiller able to get the angle, met by Elam. 6-yard gain, good block up front from Eric Wood for Buffalo.
Yeah, a little delayed draw there that time. Good lead block by Frank Summers as well. What a solid tackle, though, by the rookie Matt Elam. If he doesn't make that tackle, Spiller is gone.
Up-tempo offense now for Buffalo. 2nd and 4. Feed it to Spiller. Hurdles. And Spiller with a spin move for a first down to the 44-yard line. Let's get an NFL Today update. JB and Dan in New York.
All you need to say is A-P.
Yes, sir, and watch this run. The explosiveness right up the middle. He gets 2 good blocks, then the separation, then he outruns the defensive back, goes 60 yards for a touchdown, 17-7 Vikings.
And game producer Bob Mosbach said, back to the bird and the beard.
And back to the ground game for Buffalo, JB. Fred Jackson. Terrific vision. 3 missed tackles by the Baltimore D, and Jackson turns it into an 8-yard rip.
And he's one of those old guys you were talking about, 32 years old. Fred Jackson with strength at the line of scrimmage and quickness to bounce outside for good gain on first down.
2nd and 2. Straight ahead, Jackson grinding out yardage. And another first down. 6-yard pickup. Manuel got his body knocked around last week against the Jets.
Well, 8 sacks will do it to you, and today he's already been knocked down twice. Of course, had that costly fumble right there. But you can see the mindset of Nathaniel Hackett, offensive coordinator. Run the ball.
Fake the handoff. Manuel sets up, throws, deep ball, Woods, touchdown, Buffalo! The long ball for 42 yards.
Run the ball, play action pass, bring the linebackers up, the safeties up, and a beautiful strike by Manuel. Watch it, the Ravens are coming on the blitz. We talked about Lardarius Webb being out. His replacement, Corey Graham, gets toasted there by the rookie Woods.
Corey Graham, a native of Buffalo, went to Turner Carroll High School. And Graham back at his hometown, victimized. The arm strength of Manuel. Stevie Johnson said that these young receivers are very confident and very polished. The Bills have got a 13-7 lead.
Couple of things to look for on this touchdown pass. Here's James ahead of Bo. He's going to take the bite on the crossing route. Then Robert Woods is going to get inside position and push Corey Graham to the outside. No safety in the middle of the field. Great protection for Manuel and a perfect throw for the score.
Robert Woods, the all-time receptions leader at USC. And Woods having an impact in his rookie season now for Buffalo. Dan Carpenter will kick it off. A 13-7 lead for the Bills. Deontay Thompson, the deep man. Thompson's going to take it out 4 yards deep. Thompson long strides. Collision as he hit the 30-yard line, but a strong return by Thompson. Nigel Bradham getting him down low for the special teams tackle.
Well, the time to throw for Manuel was the key there. He's had a pretty good first half, completing 5 out of 6 for 112, and that score only blemished the fumble that led to the Ravens' only touchdown of the afternoon. But the running game really the key for the Bills this afternoon. Doing a good job with both Spiller and Fred Jackson.
5 plays, 70 yards, 4 running plays, then the pass, the 42-yard touchdown to Woods. Flacco on a give. Ray Rice looking to get it going, and Rice able to accelerate. Penalty marker is down off the stop and go by Rice for 5.
Holding. Offense. Number 73. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
And that's Marshall Yonda called on the hold. Keep in mind, that's the first touchdown that the Ravens have given up in their last 3 ball games.
And how big is the injury to Lardarius Webb? Both secondaries having to deal with injuries in the secondary.
First and 20 after the penalty. Flacco popped up in the air and picked off. It's Jim Leonard, the veteran.
Well, Leonard picked off his old team, the Jets, last week. Another old team, the Ravens now. Ball intended right over the middle for Ed Dixon. Goes off his hands up into the air where Leonard grabs it. Dixon has had 6 drop passes so far this season. This one, a critical one as it's picked off by Leonard.
Playing without Dennis Pitta. On IR with a hip fracture. More being asked of Ed Dixon. Dallas Clark signed. And this is a work in progress right now for the Baltimore offense. First down at the 28 after the turnover. Spiller is brought down. Good help and run support by Corey Graham. It's a loss of 2. The starting secondary, Williams shifting over from safety, Leonard a backup, Searcy a backup, Justin Rogers a backup. They've come through so far in this first half.
And it's been a change in their philosophy. The Bills normally would like to press more and play more man-to-man, but because of those injury They have to play more zone. It's paying off so far.
2nd and 12, play action. Manuel, another deep ball. Incomplete. Johnson was open, but Manuel could not deliver it as Suggs just stamped Manuel in the pocket.
Just a little bit over anxious by E.J. Manuel as Terrell Suggs goes to the sidelines. Here is Stevie Johnson down the sidelines. There was pressure on Manuel after the play action fake. And that may have caused him to throw as he's hit low, but it's a broken coverage there. Corey Graham taking the short zone, nobody taking the deep zone.
And Suggs was banged up on the play. He delivered the hit. 3rd and 12, Manuel touch pass. Chandler's got it, and a first down.
Well, we've already talked about how important height is for a receiver. Marlon Brown with a touchdown catch at 6'5". Chandler goes 6'7", and a nice soft touch by E.J. Manuel makes for an easy catch for his tight end for 14 yards.
Elam is 5'10", trying to deal with him. And a new set of downs for Buffalo. Back to the ground game. Jackson slips it to the end zone. Touchdown Bills. Jumping into the crowd here at the Ralph.
Yeah, really a key block by the center, Eric Wood, as he comes off on the linebacker. Watch Daryl Smith here and watch Wood come off here. And then the zigzag to the end zone by Fred Jackson.
The Buffalo Bills have opened up a 20-7 lead on the Baltimore Ravens. 6:52 to go in this first half. Taking advantage of the interception and turning it into 7. Fred Jackson, great cut up the field, and then the pretty spin of the football to celebrate.
Nice block here by the fullback as well. We've seen a lot of Frank Summers as he's going to take out the linebacker, Josh Bynes. But great vision, making a tackler miss. Matt Elam, the rookie out of Florida, didn't lay a glove on the veteran Jackson as he goes in from 16 yards out. And there's no better way to unify a football team to get a turnover and the offense immediately take it in for the score.
Are you not impressed by that?
That's a spinner there. I tell you what, he's got to be careful because they can't choreograph those celebrations. Stevie Johnson was close to choreographing. Great spin by Jackson.
Carpenter to kick it off, and Deontay Thompson will take a knee. The Buffalo offensive line has dominated at the point of attack against Baltimore so far. Tomorrow on CBS, some men are for marrying and some are just for fun. 3-time Emmy winner Tony Shalhoub stars in the new comedy We Are Men. Series premiere tomorrow after How I Met Your Mother, only CBS. Over 100 yards on the ground for the Buffalo Bills. Everybody knows Baltimore is stout up front, but the Bills believe that they really had not been tested in the run game so far. Bernard Pierce running into a wall. Baltimore cannot get it going on the ground attack. It's a 1-yard gain for the Ravens. Darius and Williams there.
The Ravens have run the ball 6 times in this first half for all of 15 yards.
So 2 interceptions for Flacco. Rice has been a non-factor coming off that hip flexor injury. 2nd and 9 now for Baltimore. Dixon the motion man. Protection holds up. Flacco. That one almost intercepted. Deflected ball. Justin Rogers getting a piece. It was a long afternoon for Rogers last week as Santonio Holmes beat him on the deep ball that turned out to be the game winner for the Jets.
Well, this should have been picked off. Look at the position that Rogers has on the receiver there. Ball thrown behind Rogers, and he would have picked that one off easily.
Mike Pettit in his first year as the defensive coordinator for the Bills. Part of Doug Marone's staff. Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator. Danny Crossman, the special teams coach. 3rd and 9. Flacco, floater, incomplete. And this Baltimore offense is just off. The timing is off. The passing game has been a struggle, and they have not been able to establish any kind of running game.
Well, Mike Pettin coming with the blitz that time brought a safety off of the left side of his defense. Flacco with not enough time to throw. And he took another big shot after he threw it.
And a very quiet 3 and out. Sam Cook will punt it to Jim Leonard. Leonard waiting for it at the Buffalo 31. This one will sail to Leonard at the 28. Leonard makes his move, sidesteps a tackler, and is brought down just short of the 40-yard line by Anthony Levine on special teams. 51-yard punt and 11-yard return for Leonard. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report, JB and Company, the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Well, the numbers so far, it's all Buffalo. 207 yards total in this first half. Baltimore limited to 74. A.J. Manuel, learning process last week against the Jets. C.J. Spiller, the handoff 4 yards up the middle for Spiller. And a crowd there for Baltimore defensively. We're going to have to peel off this pile. Upshaw was in there for the Ravens.
And that's where the Bills have had a lot of success, is running right up the middle, right at this Baltimore defense. Not a lot of teams do that.
It's rare that you go through a first half and you don't mention Haloti Ngata's name.
We got one of the Buffalo Bills here, Craig Urbick, who was hurt last week with a sore knee, appears to have problems again.
So Sam Young would step in for him. Urbick, 3rd-round draft pick back in 2009 of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and was on IR in 2009 and 2011. Young, 4-year veteran, formerly with the Dallas Cowboys, will play right guard for Buffalo.
And let's go back and take a look at the injury. We'll mention Haloti Ngata's name now. Here is Urbick. He's going to be blocking against the All-Pro. Double team on Ngata. That's why we haven't called his name much. That's what the Bills have been doing. We watch this pile here. And again, it's one of those dangerous situations where a lineman can't really predict. Bodies just kind of flop all over the place here in these piles. Sometimes they come down on these guys' legs awkwardly. You can see he's wearing braces on both his knees, as most offensive linemen smartly do.
And this offensive line has been stellar here in this first half.
Well, they had to have been embarrassed last week against the Jets. Anytime you give up 8 sacks, sometimes it's the covered sacks, sometimes it's the inexperienced quarterback, but these guys take a lot of pride in keeping their quarterbacks clean, and Manuel's not clean last week.
Yeah, we told you about Baltimore. They made the playoffs the last 5 years. Urbick is going to head to the locker room. The Buffalo Bills have not made the playoffs in 13 straight years. That's the longest drought in the NFL. 2nd and 6. Spiller trying to drive, and he was met by a bunch of white jerseys. 2-yard pickup for Spiller. Canty involved with Daryl Smith. So for Buffalo, in addition to the 13 straight years not making the playoffs, 8 straight seasons without a winning record. Oakland, 10 straight years without a playoff berth. Cleveland in the same boat. And now St. Louis has gone 8 consecutive years. Have to go back to 2000, the last playoff game at Tennessee, the Music City Miracle for Buffalo. Nobody home on that throw from Manuel, and it's 4th down. So it is a knee injury for Urbick, and his return is questionable right now for Buffalo on that offensive line.
And Doug Legursky, he was deactivated today, so now the Bills only have 6 offensive linemen. Thomas Welch is in reserve now with Sam Young in for Urbick.
Legursky's been out with a knee injury. He was slotted in to start at left guard this season. signed as a free agent from Pittsburgh, won a Super Bowl with the Steelers, but Marlon Brown had been starting for him.
Marcus easily started a little too soon on that punt.
All star offense, number 81, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
It is Easley trying to get the jump.
Well, this is called the jump, but you got to hike the ball first. Yeah, that's offsides.
So Sean Powell will do it again. Tandon Doss waiting for it at the 11. Last week against Houston, it was the defense and the special teams that got the Ravens going. Backpedaling to the 5. Doss circles, and Doss smashed at the 10-yard line. Nigel Bradham again on special teams. So Baltimore deep in its own territory. And a reminder, with NFL Mobile's free trial, you get 60 minutes of free live video access to exclusive premium content on your smartphone. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more.
Beautiful punt by Sean Powell, but real poor decision here by Tandon Doss. This ball was going to go into the end zone. He grabs it at the 5, and now his team will start 90 yards away from a touchdown.
And no rhythm for this Baltimore offense in the first half. They trail 20-7. Over the middle, completion to Tandon Doss, and he coughs it up. Doss fumbles the football, and the Bills take over inside the 20. Leonard again involved.
Now we'll see if he had possession before Leonard got the hit. Got to take 2 steps with possession of the ball. Well, that ball never seemed to be secured there as Roby comes in from behind. Looked like he might have got a right hand on the ball, but the combination of the hand and the hit. This one definitely worth looking at a few times. The ball popped loose by Roby. Might be a good time for Jim Harbaugh to. This is automatically under review at this point.
Yeah, the turnover triggers it, so they're going to take a look at it upstairs, and the question is whether or not Doss had control of it, made the football move, and then the ball was knocked loose. The ruling on the field is a fumble. Did he ever secure it? Leonard on the recovery.
I think that right hand of Nikel Roby punches the ball right about here. Now watch the ball move right there. Does he have it long enough before Leonard hits him for that to be considered control?
And it was
watching that in slow motion.
It was a gift for Leonard. The ball's just sitting next to him after it was jarred loose. Bang bang play. Tandon Doss, who was released by Baltimore before the season began, re-signed, originally drafted in the 4th round of 2011.
Here's regular speed, and your guess is as good as mine. I'm not sure this is going to be considered control. This may be just an incomplete pass. One more time in regular speed. Whatever it was great coverage by Roby and reaction by Leonard.
If it stands, it's the 3rd turnover for Baltimore. 2 interceptions from Flacco, and then this fumble by Doss. And Jerome Boger has taken a look. Usually the longer it takes, it means it's, in this case, incomplete. They've got to get the clock set.
Yep.
If it was pretty much determined, then you go back on the field and you're ready for Buffalo to take over.
Well, you're such a veteran of broadcasting and of football.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what it is. That is Jerome Boger.
There he is, right here.
Right here.
I recognize that leg.
You really nailed it with the telestrator.
Yeah. Come on out, Jerome. It looks like a voting booth here.
Yeah. Are there any hanging chads in there? That's the angle that you just saw that Boger is looking at right now. So he has seen every angle that we have shown you.
But he is staying in there a long time, so this isn't about time on the clock. This isn't about where the ball should be placed. This is him trying to make a decision, just as we are, whether this is enough control by Tandon Doss or if it's just an incomplete pass.
Dan, both offenses are on the field, and that's a matchup I'd actually like to see.
Well, they're all hoping, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Although the Baltimore defense is a little bit closer to the field than the Bills defense is.
Yeah, the one aspect could be the inconclusive aspect where he just can't overturn it based on what he saw.
Well, they did call it a completion, a fumble, and a turnover.
So Doug Marrone waits. John Harbaugh waits. Here's Boger.
After reviewing the play, it is an incomplete pass. The ball started rolling out with the previous possession. It will be second down on the 11-yard line. 3 consecutive game clock for 4 minutes, 29 seconds, 4:29.
Well, Tandon Doss is a happy guy, but the control was never there. It's unfortunate, for Rodgers, or rather Roby, to come in there, make a good play on the ball and cause it to be an incompletion instead of a turnover.
But Boger felt the ball was still moving, and it was not complete control for Doss, so the Ravens now face a 2nd and 10. Joe Flacco is 7 of 17 for 59 yards, a touchdown and 2 interceptions in his first half. Ray Rice has been held to 8 yards rushing. It's Rice, and there's nothing available for Rice. Kiko Alonso, the rookie out of Oregon, sliding through in a combination with Kyle Williams. No gain on the play.
And since Flacco threw the touchdown pass to Marlon Brown, he's only 1 out of 7 with an interception.
Baltimore now faces a 3rd and 10. From the gun, Flacco. Protection is there initially, and now Flacco is sacked. Marcel Darius busting through.
Now here's Darius right here working against Michael Orr.
So the sack for Darius, and the Baltimore Ravens have to punt out of their own end zone with Sam Cook. Leonard waiting for it. He'll move forward. Catches in stride at the 42. Leonard trying to make his move upfield. Leonard stays on his feet, and Leonard is spun down at the 37-yard line. On Showtime.
Artistry and chemistry?
Both.
Wow.
A lot of ease.
You guys are good.
37-yard line, that's the line of scrimmage for Buffalo, looking to add to their lead. C.J. Spiller keeps the legs moving, carries to the 31. Wood and Piers up front blocking. As mentioned, Sam Young is in for Craig Urbick. Out with a knee injury, his return is questionable. And now Williams is heading to the locker room. Aaron Williams suffered that right shoulder injury on a great defensive effort earlier in this half. Keep it on the ground. And Spiller able to work his way towards that marker. Looks to be just a little short. Terrell Suggs making the tackle for Baltimore.
And the one thing that E.J. Manuel wants to do is use some clock here. Maybe even let it go down to the 2-minute warning here before snapping another play, and that's exactly what the Bills are going to do.
So we hit the 2-minute warning in this second quarter. Doug Marrone and the Buffalo Bills with a 20-7 advantage over Baltimore. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB and the rest of the gang. The latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. The Buffalo Bills leading the Baltimore Ravens here in the second quarter. 20-7, 2 minutes to play. Fred Jackson gets the call, and Jackson is dropped quickly. No gain on the play for Jackson. Arthur Jones in on that stop. We're looking at 4th and inches now for Buffalo.
Yeah, but Carpenter is having a super year so far, but Doug Marrone says he wants to go for it here.
This would have been a 46-yard attempt. Jackson remains in there for Buffalo. Woods and Johnson, the receivers, on 4th and inches. Jackson bouncing off the tackle. The flag is down as he hits the perimeter. Penalty marker thrown.
If it's holding, it's coming back, and this might put Carpenter right at the edge of his range.
Holding. Offense. Number 70. 10-yard penalty. Play 4th down.
His long is 55. His career long is 60. And a game changer here for Doug Marrone.
Well, they called it on the center, Eric Wood. Yeah, he just grabs the linebacker there. It looked like Daryl Smith coming. Or was that Josh Bynes? Josh Bynes was tackled by the center there, Eric Wood. That's why Jackson had such a big running lane.
It was an outstanding tackle by Wood.
Yeah,
unfortunately, he's not a defensive player. So now 4th down. And Carpenter is not coming on the field. That's going to be Sean Powell. So that just changes everything. 4th and inches, could have kicked the 46-yard field goal. They don't. The penalty backs him up 10 yards, and now Powell will punt it. Baltimore will get the football back with 1:17 left prior to the punt.
And they'll have all their timeouts to work with.
The return man is Tandon Doss. The officials are meeting with John Harbaugh.
That's a delay of game penalty.
Offense. That penalty decline. 4th down.
So Buffalo is working with a tight field here. Delay of game penalty would have given them a little bit more room to work with on the punt, as Powell will try to place this one inside the 10. Doss waiting for it at the 10. Fair catch called for, and he's got it at the 14. So that's where the Ravens will take over with 1:10 left to play in this first half. Buffalo 20, Baltimore 7. Let's give you a recap of this second quarter. That was the big play, the Woods catch off the long throw from Manuel. Flacco's ball was tipped in the air. Jim Leonard the pick. And then the cut by Jackson and the touchdown to put Buffalo in front, 20-7. Flacco to throw. Underneath Torrey Smith. Smith with a stiff arm, and he works the sideline. Strong gain on 1st down of 23 yards, just short of the 40.
Torrey Smith has got blazing speed, and it's not just running vertically. He's so valuable running these crossing routes because he can run away from man-to-man and through zone coverages as he did that time.
No Anquan Bolden in that wide receiver room, so Torrey Smith is looked upon as a veteran. Flacco in traffic, unable to hit Dallas Clark. Kiko Alonso drawing the coverage.
Yeah, he had help too from the umpire on that play. The umpire taking his position, Tony Michalik, behind the defense, as is customary at the end of the first half.
Aaron Williams is in the locker room. They're looking at that shoulder. So Buffalo down another defender with just under a minute to play in this second quarter. Bills crowd the line. Here they come. Flacco gets rid of it. A dart to Marlon Brown, and he spun down. Modest gain of 5. Justin Rogers with a tackle for the Bills. We're down to 45 seconds to play, first half. Baltimore has timeouts. They're not using them. Flacco out of the gun. Going down is Doss, and he's not going to be able to get up to get the necessary yardage.
And that play really typifies what we've seen out of Baltimore this first half. We're going to let this clock run out, but Doss unable to keep his feet with that poor throw from Flacco. He might have been able to pick up the first down if this ball is on target.
Baltimore Ravens looking listless in this first half against Buffalo. 20-7, the Bills in front. 2 seconds remain on the clock.
For 3 seconds. This is a 30-second timeout.
So they'll reset the game clock, tack a second on. 3 seconds remain.
Well, with the arm strength of Joe Flacco and the wind kind of in his face, this is going to be to go for the Hail Mary. They had the real long throw, but I would keep my eyes on Marlon Brown at 6'5". We've already seen his ability to catch the ball up high and away from his body. But again, this is going to have to be about a 65-yard throw to reach the end zone for Flacco.
Spread it out, playing without Jacoby Jones, without Brandon Stokely. Flacco's not going to throw the deep one. He's going to throw it underneath the coverage and Tandon Doss. That'll pad the stats, but that's it. 24 yards. End of the first half in Orchard Park, New York. 20-7. The Bills leading the Ravens. The Verizon halftime report is coming up after a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. First half, E.J. Manuel, the learning curve for the rookie quarterback, looked strong in that first half against the Baltimore D. Turnover troubles for Baltimore. 2 Flacco interceptions, Williams with 1, Leonard the other. And Buffalo put up 10 points off of those turnovers. Second half action is coming up with the Bills in front, 20-7. Welcome back here, Orchard Park, New York. Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts. What's going right for Buffalo? What's going wrong for Baltimore?
Well, Baltimore is being pushed around. It's plain and simple. Buffalo's committed to the run with a fullback in the game, sometimes 2 tight ends. They're running right at Baltimore. And what that's doing, obviously you saw the long pass to Woods, the play action after 4 straight runs. That was really a key play in the first half besides those turnovers.
DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam for the Buffalo Bills. Manuel to Woods, the big highlight.
Well, the mistake by Hedebo to take the crossing route. And then, of course, the injury to Darius Webb. Corey Graham comes in, takes his place, and gets beat by Woods right there. But how about this balance for the Buffalo Bills? Over 100 yards rushing, 100 yards passing, and the key, the 2 turnovers, which they've turned into points.
20-7, the Bills in front of the Ravens. Ravens interaction at 2-1. Buffalo at 1-2. A tough loss to the Jets last week. For Baltimore, got off to a slow start against Houston and then able to turn things around. The Daryl Smith interception for a touchdown. The Tandon Doss punt return for a touchdown. And they ran away with it 30-9 over the Texans. Justin Tucker kicking it off. Marcus Easley will not get an opportunity. And the Bills will open up at the 20-yard line to start this second half.
Excellent first half for the Buffalo Bills, starting with a good opening drive. They went 64 yards. They got the 27-yard field goal, then took advantage of the turnover. Another field goal by Carpenter.
Craig Urbick is back in for Buffalo at that right guard spot. On first down, Spiller denied, trying to go up the middle. Terrell Suggs over there with Jones, a 1-yard gain for Spiller.
And you wonder what the conversation in the Baltimore locker room was at halftime. I'm sure it was quite heated, pointed at the defense and especially the front 7. stop the run here in the second half, or you got no shot to stop Buffalo.
2nd and 9 for the Bills. C.J. Spiller off the draw. Arthur Jones greets him, a 1.5-yard gain for Spiller, and it sets up 3rd and fairly long now for Buffalo.
37 for the Bills.
Michael Huff and Shockey Brown now in the dime package for Baltimore. On 3rd down, throw it underneath, trying to get Stevie Johnson involved. Johnson with a catch, and Graham sniffed it out. Johnson now 52 straight games with at least one grab, his first catch of the day, and the Baltimore defense with an early statement in this opening portion of the 3rd quarter. AFC East, Buffalo at 1-2, New England and Miami undefeated. The Jets with that win over the Bills last week improved to 2-1.
That was a great play by Corey Graham as he beat the block of Robert Woods. Woods out there trying to block for Stevie Johnson, but great reaction by Graham.
Sean Powell punting to Tandon Das. Waiting for it at the Baltimore 30. And whistles blow before the punt.
False start on the Bills.
False start. Offense, number 27. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
And a rough start for Buffalo to open up this second half as Duke Williams is called on the false start.
It's kind of like the rough start that the Ravens had to start the ball game. Had a couple of penalties, pushed them back inside their 10-yard line, and now the Bills are being tested here to start the second half with mistakes.
Buffalo came in 31st in the NFL in time of possession through 3 weeks. Philadelphia entered action last, and not a good punt. Baltimore's going to have excellent field position. First possession of the second half for the Ravens will be starting at the 45. Ravens trailing the Bills 20-7. Bills have the lead early stages of this 3rd quarter. Baltimore with the football for the first time in the second half. 1st and 10 at the Ravens 45-yard line. Ray Rice limited to 8 yards on 3 carries. And flags to open up this drive for Baltimore.
False start. Offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Dan, distractions for this Baltimore franchise early in the week. TMZ reported an incident on a party bus following a birthday celebration for Bryant McKinney. And it was Jacoby Jones that was reportedly involved in an altercation. He denied that an altercation took place. That then led to Ray Lewis making a comment that they're missing leadership right now. Pump fake from Flacco. Flacco out of the pocket, looking downfield, and Flacco will throw it away. Let's deal with the leadership questions from Ray Lewis. We asked a number of players about it, and they all kind of pushed it to the side, said no, there's plenty of leadership in this locker room. What was your reaction to what Lewis said and how the Ravens are handling it?
Well, I think Ray was just caught off guard by the question. Number one, it was a reaction that he made that really doesn't reflect what's going on in the locker room anymore. There are plenty of leaders on this team, starting with Joe Flacco and going throughout the different positions.
Flacco able to make the connection to Ed Dixon, but only 3 yards on the play. It sets up 3rd and 7.
And really, the tough position is once you go from being a player to a member of the media, how do you deal with your former team and how do you deal with former players that you played with or against? And I had to do the same thing, and I had to learn that you use the same type of critique or criticism that the players would hear from the coaches on the next day instead of attacking them just out of hand at times.
Was there ever a backlash with you?
Not yet.
Really? You're still on the clock. 3rd and 12. Flacco fakes the run. Flacco now sets up the deep ball. Incomplete. Try to hook up with Marlon Brown. Justin Rogers in deep coverage.
That's how important that false start penalty was. But Flacco came real close to going across the line of scrimmage. He backed up behind the line of scrimmage and then lets this one fly. Rodgers right there You can see that there's a late hit on Flacco by Jerry Hughes.
Sam Cook to punt it once again. Jim Leonard waits for it. Fair catch called for, and he brings it in cleanly at the 12. Aaron Williams did return for Buffalo on that defensive series. John Harbaugh and the Ravens down by 13. Along Lake Erie, the Buffalo Bills lead the Baltimore Ravens 20-7 here in the third quarter. C.J. Spiller trying to bounce it and cannot. Terrell Suggs throws him back as a 2-yard gain on forward progress. We talked to Doug Marrone about the transition, becoming an NFL head coach, and he said communication was the biggest thing for him, earning the players' trust. And he even said through social media now, he wanted to make sure the players heard news from him and the coaching staff before they ever heard it from the media or on Twitter. And that was an interesting take on things.
Well, it's so modern. I mean, for a football coach to be thinking about Twitter.
Manuel throws and bounces it in the direction of Robert Woods. The one thing the Bills have not been able to do is establish their weapon, Stevie Johnson. 1 catch, -1 on the reception for Buffalo today.
You know, but getting back to Marrone and the communication thing, that is so smart because the players learn from the source and not from outside sources in the media or their friends or anybody else. It's a smart move by Doug Marrone and his coaching staff.
3rd and 8 now for Manuel and the Bills. 7 of 11, 125 yards and a touchdown for Manuel. Protection holds up. And intercepted. It's Daryl Smith once again. Smith did it last week, and he comes up with the pick this week. The Baltimore defense providing the offense with an opportunity now deep in Buffalo territory.
Yeah, trying to force the ball into Stevie Johnson over the middle. Manuel threw a real fastball here that skips off the hands. Here's Johnson right here. He's going to set down right in the middle. And when he does, this fastball's coming. And there is Smith for the carom.
Daryl Smith, what an addition he has been. Came over from Jacksonville and continues to make plays for Baltimore. Can the Ravens take advantage? Dump off for Pierce, and he veers out of bounds after the catch. It's only a 2-yard pickup on the pass play.
You know, and I loved what Terrell Suggs said about Daryl Smith. He says he's really quiet. But boy, does he play loud.
And he has so far. Smith, John Harbaugh said they played them 2 years ago. Week 7, 2011 season on a Monday night. Jacksonville beat Baltimore. He said Smith was all over the field. That caught their attention that day when he became available. They jumped on it. 2nd and 8. Pierce in the backfield for Baltimore. Trying to cut into this Buffalo lead. Flacco with flags down. Incomplete. But penalty markers on the play.
This is going to be against the Bills.
Encroachment. Defense, number 90, with contact. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That is 5 penalties now on Buffalo, costing them 40 yards.
Here's the 6'6", 325, Alan Branch. Fans just saw it. They thought he might have been drawn offsides.
Place the football at the 11-yard line. 2nd and about 3 now for Baltimore. Under 11 minutes to go in this third quarter. Operating out of the gun. Flacco in trouble. Flacco devoured. Manny Lawson off the edge for Buffalo.
That's Lawson's first sack of the season here. Totally unblocked. A bust in the protection for the Ravens. That's going to bring up a 3rd down. The Ravens just 1 of 9 on 3rd downs after converting their very first 3rd down try today.
3rd and 11. 2nd sack of the afternoon for the Buffalo D. Flacco, a deep drop. Rush is coming again. Flacco unloads it. steps in front. It'll come out to the 20. Flacco took a shot from Jerry Hughes as he released the football. And the third interception of the day.
They're talking to Mike Pettin about Aaron Williams. He said everything they could hope for. The ultimate professional, a great example in the meeting rooms. He's just has the ability to play safety, and today playing corner because of the injuries. But when you're getting pressure like this, Hughes and Roby coming, and Flacco victimized for the third time.
Second pick of the day for Williams, was dealing with a shoulder injury, and Buffalo gets it back. Movement on the right side of the defensive line. Manuel with a free play potentially. Hooks up with Lee Smith. Smith down the sideline and dishing out some punishment on Jimmy Smith. No relation.
It's going to be offsides against the Ravens. So this first catch of the year for Lee Smith is going to do work for 28 big ones.
Offside. Defense, number 55. That penalty decline. The result of the play is the first down.
Now, crossing routes have been good for the Bills this afternoon. Here's the big tight end all the way over. You're going to see the offsides from this side. Right there appeared to be Suggs.
Back to the running game. Spiller is spilled out as he couldn't take it to midfield. Held to no gain on the play by Daryl Smith. And now Spiller is limping noticeably. Spiller came in banged up, dealing with a quad injury.
It looked like he got twisted backwards on that tackle. Might have sprained an ankle there. Looks like the way he's walking.
Buffalo does have the 1-2 punch with Fred Jackson, so it's Jackson now. Sticks the helmet down, drives ahead, and Jackson works his way into Baltimore territory for a gain of 5.5.
Let's check out the injury to C.J. Spiller. That play did not look good from the get-go. It looked like Spiller turned the wrong way, and now bending over backwards there on the tackle. Upshaw, one of the tacklers there, along with Daryl Smith.
So Jackson remains in there for Spiller, and now it's third down for Buffalo, 3rd and 4. Manuel tried the quick hitter, couldn't squeeze it into Stevie Johnson. And they have blanketed Johnson throughout the day. It's 4th down now for Buffalo.
Well, good coverage that time by Jimmy Smith. And watch Matt Elam come from his safety spot here from the right side of the screen, and you can see the ball thrown low. Tough attempted catch by Stevie Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson stretching along that Buffalo sideline, basically has been shut out. That one catch that lost a yard. Sean Powell will punt. Doss waits for it at the Baltimore 10. 5th punt of the day for Powell. Gets all of this one. It's over the head of Doss, and it will land in the end zone. So a 47-yard punt, but a net of just 27. Score remains the same, 20-7, Buffalo. First 3 games, the Ravens turned it over 3 times. Mike Pettin's defensive unit has forced 3 turnovers here today against this Baltimore offense. Ravens have the football, 1st and 10 at the 20, 8:48 to go in the 3rd. They trail the Bills 20-7 from the gun. Flacco zips it in there to Dallas Clark, and he's got a first down across the 30-yard line. It covers 12 yards. Denoris Searcy, the safety, with the coverage.
That's the 14th completion for Joe Flacco. Unfortunately, he's thrown 3 to the Buffalo Bills. Aaron Williams in zone coverage there. Then the deflection off of Ed Dixon. Leonard picks up, and spectacular effort here in the end zone by Aaron Williams, playing with a bad shoulder. Gets his 2nd of the day.
First 3 interception game in 3 years for Flacco. It's Clark again off the rifle from Flacco. Searcy again drawing the coverage as we head to New York. JB and Dan with the update.
Castle and Jennings.
Yes, both of these guys hooked up twice today on touchdowns. This one 16 yards to Greg Jennings. Minnesota's up 34-17.
Iron Eagle and the Hall of Famer Dan Fouts.
And JB, we could see a quarterback change permanently in Minnesota with Castle in for the injured Ponder. Torrey Smith able to get it to the outside, and then Smith is brought down from behind with a flag thrown. Aaron Williams with the tackle. Did he grab him by the neck?
Yeah, this might be a horse collar, Ian.
Personal foul. Horse collar tackle. Defense, number 23. 15-yard penalty after the end of the run. First down.
It's a crossing route, as you see Torrey Smith come underneath. But you know, if Aaron Williams doesn't grab him by that collar, Torrey Smith may go right down the sideline to the end zone. There's nobody back there. He also grabbed a little face mask. 37 yards total. 22 on the catch, 15 on the penalty.
6 penalties now, costing Buffalo 55 yards. Baltimore in business at the 26-yard line of Buffalo. Flacco gets rid of it. Flacco in stride. Torrey Smith the catch and the touchdown. The Ravens battling back here in Buffalo.
Yeah, the Bills gambled that time and brought the blitz. That has exposed Rodgers to man-to-man coverage on Torrey Smith. Nice sharp post route. Great timing with Flacco and a walk-in touchdown. There you see the blitz. Alonso coming. And the inside release by Torrey Smith. Flacco bouncing back 4 for 4 on that drive.
Smith, his third catch, 71 yards and the touchdown. Flacco now with 2 touchdowns, 185 yards on the day. Justin Tucker the extra point to bring Baltimore within 6, and he converts. 20-14, Buffalo now in front. Baltimore with a quick strike. The offense comes to life here in the third. It's Flacco to Smith for the score. 4 plays, 80 yards, culminates in the Flacco to Smith 26-yard touchdown. Torrey Smith finally gets his first touchdown of the season. He's been asked about that throughout the week. Smith, he's on pace for an 85-catch, 1,434-yard season for Baltimore. Touchback, Marcus Easley takes a knee. 7:17 to go in this third quarter. It's now 20-14. Buffalo, Thursday on CBS. The only thing worse than having your parents split up is having them move in. Will Arnett, Margot Martindale, Bo Bridges are the Millers. It premieres Thursday after The Big Bang Theory, only CBS. C.J. Spiller going out with that injury. Fred Jackson is in for Buffalo. Fake the handoff. Manuel looking to throw. Manuel with a flag down. And Manuel pushed out of bounds at the 21. Terrell Suggs provided the pressure. Cordy Glenn held him as he was trying to get to the QB.
You can see Suggs saying, "Come on back, fellas."
Holding. Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Here's Cordy Glenn, and here's the pass rush extraordinaire. Just a bull rush there, and then the takedown.
No harm done with the head linesman. Third penalty to start a drive for Buffalo here today. Touch pass. Oh, what an over-the-shoulder grab. Scott Chandler. 24 yards. The floater from the rookie Manuel.
Yeah, he beat the linebacker Courtney Upshaw. Bills quickly going to the line of scrimmage. Did he get both feet down? Not so sure he did. The left foot kind of lands on top of the right foot.
Yeah, Baltimore may challenge this.
There's the challenge flag is out.
Buffalo is trying to rush to the line. It's something we've seen the New England Patriots do so often. Questionable call, just get up there and snap it.
You talk about unfortunate.
The
The right foot is in, but the left foot is on top of the right foot as he slides out of bounds.
It is a tremendous catch, but I'm not sure it's going to stand. John Harbaugh challenging it. 6:50 mark of the third in a 6-point game.
Our referee Jerome Boger still under the hood, taking a look at these pictures. Right foot in, left foot comes down on top of the right foot. And the rule book says clearly must have 2 feet down inbounds. That is just a very unusual and unfortunate play after a nice throw, super catch. Is going to be incomplete.
Jerome Boger has now emerged.
After reviewing the play, it was an incomplete pass. The receiver got 1 foot down inbounds, and with his body hit out of bounds. He will go back to the 15-yard line and play second down. Baltimore is not charged a timeout.
And again, the extended look from Boger. If it's something that he notices right away that it's a clean catch, they go out, they play the game. This one, it took a little while, and the decision made that he just did not have that second foot down.
No, his body landed out of bounds after his right foot comes down inbounds, left foot on top of right foot. But,
happened right in front of the head coach, Doug Marrone.
And a heads-up challenge by John Harbaugh.
So back it up now.
On the game time. Thank you.
You're welcome. 6:54 to go. Jerome Boger resetting the game clock. 20-14 Buffalo. Baltimore still has all 3 timeouts remaining after the challenge. Manuel dials up the deep ball. Knocked down. T.J. Graham, the intended receiver. And back there, Shockey Brown. 3rd year out of Texas. 5th round pick in 2011 to make the play.
T.J. Graham was looking all over for this ball. Well underthrown, almost picked off by Brown there. But worth the effort and the chance on that second down and 20.
Shotgun formation, handoff, Jackson. And Fred Jackson comes up short of the original line of scrimmage. 8-yard pickup, Buffalo will punt. And a clear shift in momentum here at Ralph Wilson Stadium.
And that's how important that holding penalty was on Cordy Glenn. The Bills already backed up deep in their own end, get the 10-yard penalty, and then can't respond after that long pass was ruled out of bounds.
So Sean Powell will punt it again. Tandon Das camps out at the 34-yard line of Baltimore. We'll hit the 6-minute mark of this 3rd quarter. Das backpedaling, but he has room to work with. Das trying to split defenders and is hit hard. Garrison Sanborn, the snapper, will get credit for the special teams tackle. A 59-yard punt and 11-yard return. Get inside the mind of a quarterback. Join Phil Simms, Rich Gannon, Steve Berline, Adam Shine, NFL Monday QB. That's tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. It is an ankle injury for C.J. Spiller. His return is questionable right now for Buffalo. Limited last week to just 9 yards. Spiller looked much better in the first half here this afternoon. Baltimore down by 6. They take over. 5:55 to play in the 3rd. Flacco will sky it. And another play made by the secondary from Buffalo. Denoris Searcy against Dallas Clark.
We're seeing some really fine individual efforts in this Buffalo secondary. Searcy going up with the right hand to keep Clark from making the catch on the sidelines. Tight coverage and great reaction to the ball by Searcy.
Dan, how many running plays for Baltimore in this second half?
Nada. Not Haloti nada either. None.
2nd and 10. Empty backfield again. Flacco with a flag down. They try to set it up on the outside. Deontay Thompson is drilled. It's Searcy again.
It'll be an illegal formation against the Ravens.
For the game, 34 passes, 7 rushes.
Illegal formation. Offense, number 72. The left guard was not lined up on the line of scrimmage.
That is so unusual.
3rd down.
For an interior lineman to not be close enough to the line of scrimmage. You usually see the offensive tackles back. But here is Osemele, and that's a good call. You can see the other helmets are all in a line there. and his isn't. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Play selection in this half, 11 passes. They just declined the penalty. So it's a third down for Baltimore. Instead of being backed up, they'll get a chance to convert it. Tandon Doss ducks out of bounds in Buffalo territory. And questionable strategy right now for Buffalo not accepting that penalty.
Yeah, that's a mistake. Clear and simple. You got to move him back 5 yards, bring up a second down and long, but this is a great bust in the coverage here. Crossing route for Doss, and there's just nobody home. All he needed was 7 yards for the first down. Got it with ease.
Line of scrimmage is now the 46 of Buffalo. Ravens are on the move. Flacco. Intercepted. Kiko Alonso has got another. The rookie with his third pick on the season. Flacco has thrown 4 on the day.
Well, this Kiko Alonso, he's used to picking off passes. He was the Rose Bowl Defensive Player of the Game for the Oregon Ducks when he intercepted Russell Wilson in a key play. Here he is right behind the goalpost, just waiting for another crossing route. Steps right in front of Brown for the pick.
Bills take over. Fred Jackson, legs churning. Across the 45, 4.5-yard gain. Matt Elam with the stop.
Here's Alonso. 14 is Brown coming on the crossing route that had been so good. Not sure what Flacco was looking at there. Obviously not at number 50.
He had Brown and Doss crisscrossing.
On the left, on the left.
And the 4th pick. Jackson bounces off a tackler, trying to get to the outside. Jackson tiptoes his way along the sideline and right at the marker. It was Suggs who got the initial contact on Jackson. And it is enough for a first down.
And just tremendous speed by Fred Jackson as he hits up in the middle and bounces it to the outside. And he's going to outrun Doomerville to the down marker for the first.
Yeah, with no C.J. Spiller, Tashard Choice will get an opportunity here in a double tight end set. Chandler and Smith. Choice. He's got a hole, but he stumbles. And Choice upsetted himself. 7-yard gain.
That was our first read option play of the game, and it was very effective, but Choice coming cold off the bench. Didn't have his legs underneath him, or he might have had a huge gain.
Joe Flacco taking a look at some pictures. 19 of 35, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Fake it initially, and now it's Robert Woods getting him out in space. Woods the stutter step. And forced out of bounds inside the 20 after the 13-yard pickup. Good block from Scott Chandler on the outside to help spring the rookie.
Yeah, Scott Chandler looking like Fuzzy Thurston on this play. Watch him come all the way around after the handoff to Woods. The old cross body block right there on Jimmy Smith. Another big positive play for the Bills.
Jackson now returns. In the red zone, it's Jackson. He gets to the outside. Banged out of bounds. Good enough for another first down. Eric Pierce able to create space, blocking inside.
Well, they sealed the corner and out to around the outside, beating the safety. Elam goes Fred Jackson.
First and goal for Buffalo.
C.J. Spiller in the backfield now.
And this play whistle dead? No. Manuel sold it so well. Trying to hit Lee Smith. It's incomplete.
You know, they're faking the end around. It was a great fake. Poor Lee Smith. Here he is right here. He's going to come off here. And I think he's going to trip on the 5-yard line. Yeah, no, it was a 6. The 6-yard line got him. That would have been an easy touchdown.
2nd and goal now for Buffalo. Jackson back in there. It's Jackson. And he's trampled down inside the 5. So now 3rd and goal for the Bills. 2.5 to go in the 3rd, and it's Jackson jogging gingerly to the Buffalo sideline.
It was interesting. They put Spiller in just to fake the ball to him on that end-around pass to Lee Smith. And now if Jackson can't go, it'll be all on to Shard Choice. He's the last choice.
That's punting.
Thank you.
3rd and goal now. Buffalo trying to add to its lead. Moving pocket. Manuel to throw. It's caught by Woods. Touchdown, Bills. A bullet from E.J. Manuel.
Now using his mobility to get outside of the pocket, throwing on the run. Really displaying today that he's got all the throws needed to be an NFL quarterback. This is just a beautiful strike to Woods, who gives him just enough room in the back of the end zone in front of Jimmy Smith for the score.
Robert Woods, 2nd touchdown of the day. 4 catches, 76 yards, 8 plays, 48 yards on the drive off of the Alonso interception. They will take a look. All scoring plays are reviewed. We'll take a look as well with Manuel and Woods developing chemistry.
Corey Graham had good coverage on Stevie Jackson. Boy, he may have bobbled this ball. First look. Jimmy Smith goes in with the right hand, and that may be enough to have this overturned.
Woods loses it at the end as he's lunging into the crowd. What's the call, Dan Fouts?
Well, he didn't have total possession control, and I'm not sure that he had both feet down either.
Jimmy Smith with the push right at the end of the play.
That's a great play by Jimmy Smith. He dislodged the ball first, and then he pushed Woods, so Woods had so much momentum that he couldn't get both feet down. And Fred Jackson headed to the locker room for more attention. Right foot down, left foot's out. When did he have control?
Now, this is going to be a very tough call for Jerome Boger and company.
He's had some tough calls today. It's been a long time in the voting booth. Great reaction by Jimmy Smith, though. Not giving up on the play.
Does he have control with that left arm, or do you consider that ball moving?
Yeah, it's moving. You can just see it move as his feet come down.
Boger has seen enough. Big call coming up.
After reviewing the play, it is an incomplete pass. The receiver was backing the ball as he ran out of bounds. It will be 4th down, Buffalo, at the 4-yard line.
70,000 disagree, but this is the call that Jerome Boger made. That ball was moving, did not get both feet in as he was trying to control it.
Possible 4-point play right there. You got to give Jimmy Smith a lot of credit for hanging with the play and dislodging that ball just long enough.
Field goal unit on. Dan Carpenter with a chip shot 22 yards away. (23-14) Buffalo. 1:56 to go in the 3rd quarter. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS will have doubleheader action for you. First, the Patriots clash with the Bengals, or the Ravens take on the Dolphins. Then, Game 2, Peyton Manning and the Broncos battle the Dallas Cowboys. It all starts with JB and the rest of the crew. NFL Today at noon Eastern here on CBS.
Well, E.J. Manuel did his job. Robert Woods just couldn't control the ball long enough. And a good call by Jerome Boger. Much to the dismay of this huge crowd.
So that's 13 points off of turnovers now for Buffalo. And they lead by 9.
That is such a key stat in the NFL. You get a turnover. Well, what do you do with the turnover? Do you put it in the end zone or through the uprights? Kiko Alonso with 3 picks in his first 3 NFL games.
On the kickoff, Deontay Thompson. And Thompson is met just short of the 25 by Bradham. NFL Today update. JB, Dan Marino standing by in New York.
Marshawn Lynch, 12 rushing attempts today, 83 yards. This one, he goes in on the outside. This was a 14-play, 98-yard drive. Seattle comes to within 7 points of Houston.
7:37 left in regulation. Let's take it back to Ian and Dan.
Pretty amazing the way the AFC has handled the NFC in the head-to-head matchup so far. Right now you've got Houston leading Seattle, but the record has been in favor of the AFC teams so far in the young season. Flacco throwing. Catch is made by Thompson, 5-yard pickup. Justin Rogers there defensively for Buffalo. We still have 1:38 to go in the third.
And we're yet to see the Ravens run the ball here in the second half.
Fred Jackson was retaped in the Buffalo Bills locker room. He will return. Ray Rice in limited action in his return to the field after being inactive last week. Flacco throwing. Flacco able to complete that pass to Ed Dixon. Dixon had one pop off his hands for an interception earlier. That one is 13 yards with Searcy, the safety, making the tackle.
That's what we're talking about. Flacco's getting it done through the air. That was a big catch for Ed Dixon. Under pressure, but also the fact that he's had the dropsies here to begin the season.
Flacco came into the week 28th in the NFL in average yards per pass attempt, just 6.25 yards. Movement and flags.
Good job by Flacco with the hard count. Got the defense to jump.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
It's not easy from the shotgun to get the opponent to jump off sides. But that movement there by Marshall Yonda may have done it. Did you see him bobble up just a touch, and that got the defense to jump?
Jamal Westerman, the guilty party. You could have taken your pick there. 8th penalty for Buffalo. 20 seconds left in the third. Flacco. Offline. Tandon Das was open. Kyle Williams with the heat on Flacco.
Yeah, they've gotten to Flacco twice today for sacks, but they've also been in his face a number of times, causing some incompletions. That time he couldn't really step into that throw. That's why it was off target. Kyle Williams with the pressure that time.
21 of 38, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions for Flacco. On 2nd and 5. Flacco hooks a pass deep. Incomplete. Torrey Smith with Aaron Williams there, stride for stride.
And what a luxury to have a safety that can go outside and play corner for you. But that's what Aaron Williams provides for the Buffalo Bills. Just enough with the right hand.
Throw off the timing and concentration for Smith. 11 seconds left in the third. Flacco on 3rd and 5. Incomplete. Tandon Das got hit down low off the high throw. And the drive stalls for Baltimore.
It's been a rough couple of weeks for Justin Rogers, but he's going to make the play here. Get some help from Searcy coming over late, but good coverage by Justin Rogers.
7th punt of the day for Sam Cook, averaging 47.5 yards per kick. Leonard waits. Fair catch. He had some room to work with, but Leonard took the safe route. Line of scrimmage will be the 11. End of the third. 23-14. Buffalo in front of Baltimore. The fourth quarter next. Start of the fourth quarter here at Ralph Wilson Stadium. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, the rest of our CBS crew. Producer Bob Monsbach, director Jim Cornell. 23-14. The Bills leading the Ravens. And Buffalo's got it with a 1st and 10 at its own 11-yard line. C.J. Spiller is back in there for Buffalo. Fake the handoff. Manuel's going to do it himself. And the slide by Manuel with a flag down.
And they're going to get Stevie Johnson for an illegal block.
Holding. Offense. Number 13. Half the distance to the goal. Replay. First down.
And the 4th penalty on the first play of a drive today for Buffalo.
And this was the read option play, but number 13 is Stevie Johnson. He's going to grab a Hedebo right there and bring him down. Bad positioning by Johnson on the block there. Manuel had a good fake to Spiller. Twice now they've just used Spiller as a decoy. Wonder how long that can last.
In the second half, Manuel is 2 out of 9 with an interception. 1st and 15. Spiller shoots through that hole, and Spiller dances his way just short of the 20-yard line as Wood and Pierce get out front to create some space. But Spiller just doesn't look right.
Now, he's got a left ankle sprain. You can see all the new black tape on that left ankle.
And now Jackson, who got a re-tape job, is back out there for Buffalo. Just underway here in the fourth quarter. Draw play, Manuel to Jackson. Fred Jackson, 7-year veteran, has tremendous instincts, inside, outside ability. A 9-yard pickup, also great hands. He's a factor in the passing game.
Yeah, he's also a captain, and that means a lot to him. Leading by example here, playing tough, playing hurt, getting good yards.
12 carries, 77 yards and a touchdown. Buffalo, this half, they favored the run. Can't do that. Trying to jump, Josh Bynes.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 56. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's 7 penalties against the Ravens. We've had 10 against the Buffalo Bills this afternoon. Yeah, that'll get you a penalty every time. Goodness.
Thought it was blatant, huh?
Yeah. A little early.
1st and 5. Going up the middle for Tashard Choice is wrestled down by Hedebo. It's a 4-yard pickup.
These are Choice's first carries of the season. He's going to be counted on here with both Spiller and Jackson less than 100%.
Oh, look at this. Buffalo now over 200 yards on the ground. 15 for Baltimore.
Yeah, and the Ravens are only giving up 74 per game coming in.
2nd and 1. Choice stacked up. It's going to be 3rd and short. Chris Canty, first man there for the Ravens. And an important 3rd down on both sides right now.
It's 3rd and 1.
Buffalo just 3 of 13 converting 3rd downs. That's been a problem for them all season long. Doug Marrone told us they've been just awful in these 3rd down and 1 to 3 yards to go.
3 of 13 today. This is a 3rd and 1. Bootleg. Manuel pump. He's going to run it. He's got the angle and a new set of downs for Buffalo.
Really veteran move here by E.J. Manuel. He had receivers in the area, but he also knew he just needed a yard for the first down. So after the play fake, he saw the down marker. And forget about throwing it to Lee Smith right there. He's going to pick it up with his legs and avoids the contact as the clock continues to roll.
Under 12 minutes to play now in the fourth. 9-point lead for Buffalo. Read option, it's C.J. Spiller. 2-yard gain off forward progress for Spiller, Suggs, and Nada.
There was a gain of 2 on the play and 2nd and 8.
We asked John Harbaugh, how do you prepare for a new head coach like Doug Marrone? So we looked at Syracuse tape. We looked at some of the read option stuff as well. You practice against the read option stuff and you get a feel for it. Fred Jackson now in the backfield. And now Buffalo just taking its time. Play clock's down to 5, down to 4. Jackson. No hole to work with, and he's driven backwards after the gain of 2.
And the Bills like to go with an up-tempo offense. Obviously here you want to slow it down. Coming into today's game, they were one of the worst teams in the league as far as time of possession. But today they're just dominating that stat.
Jackson lost his helmet on the play. So Tashard Choice will shift in now for Buffalo on a 3rd and 6. 10.5 to go, 4th quarter. Shotgun, Manuel. They handle the rush. And a dart to Woods. Good enough for a first down. Buffalo will move the chains and keep the clock moving as well. 9-yard pickup.
It's a crossing route as Woods gets underneath Shockey Brown, and a little bit of traffic there was just what he needed. And the protection for Manuel. How about this connection? Rookie to rookie. It's been dynamite today.
23-14.
What do you want?
Buffalo leads it with 9:44 to go. This drive continues. Choice. He's got a lead. And a flag thrown at the 49-yard line. Buffalo has run 66 plays compared to Baltimore's 49.
Holding, offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
It's the center, Eric Wood, one of the leaders on this offensive line.
Yeah, twice now for Eric Wood, and both times it's negated some real positive runs. Well, he's going to bury Brandon Williams right there. Almost seems like every time there's a good running play, the flag comes out, doesn't it?
Certainly feels that way, but they have put up 211 yards on the ground. They are inching closer to setting a record against Baltimore. Baltimore, the most yards they've ever given up on the ground, 227 against Dallas last year. Manuel takes a shot. He's a runner there. McPhee gets a free shot on him. Pernell McPhee, third-year linebacker out of Mississippi State. Played defensive end last year. Joe Flacco, a helpless feeling. This is a 6-minute drive for Buffalo. And the Ravens are already down 2 scores.
Nathaniel Hackett doing a good job of mixing up his plays on the ground, mixing in some read option for Manuel.
Fake the handoff to Jackson. Manuel looking downfield. Manuel throws. Deep ball. Intercepted. It's picked off by the Buffalo native Corey Graham. And the Ravens get the football back. A mistake by Manuel and the Bills.
Well, the mistake was fundamentals. He never set his feet to throw this ball. That's why it's short, and that's why Graham comes back and makes the catch.
Coming up, Subway postgame show. JB and the rest of the crew. All the latest scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Subway postgame show. Well, it looked like Buffalo had a chance to just cement this victory. 11 plays, 34 yards, 6 minutes and 27 seconds, but Manuel intercepted by Corey Graham, and the Ravens take over with 8:33 to play, down 23-14. Deep in their own territory, Flacco settles in. He'll dial up the deep ball. It's caught! Torrey Smith, it's a foot race! And hit from behind by Aaron Williams to save the touchdown.
Joe Flacco can throw it a country mile. This is a country mile. Torrey Smith eyeballing it. Great effort by Williams to keep him out of the end zone. But what a throw. 74 yards total. Beautiful pass by Joe Flacco.
Smith now 4 catches, 145 yards and a touchdown. Nearly had his second of the day. Baltimore is inside the Buffalo 20. Play action. Flacco looks, throws, incomplete. Vontae Leach, the fullback, releasing in a matchup with Arthur Moats, the linebacker.
21 plays here in the second half for Baltimore. 21 passes. Go back to the interception. Watch the pressure by Upshaw here as he fights off the block, gets to the midsection of E.J. Manuel. Ball comes up short, and Graham Pitt makes the pick.
Baltimore trying to rally against Buffalo. We're in the fourth quarter. 7:44 to play. 2nd and 10 now for the Ravens. Flacco, shotgun, fake the handoff. Rush is coming. Flacco fires underneath. Dallas Clark out of bounds. Manny Lawson over there on the perimeter to bring him down. "22 pass plays in this half. They are yet to run the football."
But don't forget about Ray Rice. He's still in the ball game. He's still a weapon.
3rd and long now for Baltimore. Flacco, fade route, knocked away. Brandon Burton. Torrey Smith the intended target, and Burton able to get his right hand on it. Baltimore now 2 out of 13 on 3rd downs. 35-yard attempt now for Justin Tucker. At some point they would need the touchdown and the field goal. So you're down here, you go for your field goal and ask your defense to now stop the Buffalo offense and a rookie quarterback. 35-yard attempt. Tucker knocks it through. 23-17. Buffalo in front. The deep ball. Flacco to Smith. Couldn't get the touchdown. Baltimore settles for 3. Back here in Buffalo, you want to get on television, here's a combination. You dress as Elvis and you mention the analyst on the network broadcast. It never fails.
It's just not any analyst. I'm a big Elvis fan.
You are a big Elvis fan, right?
And I'm about to leave.
Well, no, that's not allowed. We're a team. He's got to work on that left mutton chop.
Yeah, the blonde tooth is bad.
The rushing disparity here today. Buffalo 215 yards on the ground. Baltimore 15. 200-yard differential with 7:12 to go in the fourth and a 6-point lead for the Bills. First down from the 20. Fred Jackson is in there. Jackson trying to drive up the middle, and he is pushed backwards. Ball popped loose. Chris Canty, first man there. And Buffalo will retain it. They'll give him a gain of 1 on the play.
Yeah, his forward progress stopped before Canty pulls him down and pulls the ball out.
So 2nd and 9, time of possession in favor of Buffalo because they have controlled the ground game. Play action. Manuel to throw it. Incomplete. Robert Woods diving attempt across the middle.
He had to get the ball over 36 ahead of Boo. And then the effort by Woods, just can't bring it in on the dive. Manuel now just 3 of 13 for 36 yards here in the second half.
E.J. Manuel talked about focusing on not making big mistakes, but he said it's a fine line. You don't want to take yourself out of the rhythm of the game. But these games are so close. The margin of error is so slim. Manuel out of the pocket. Manuel throws to T.J. Graham, and he is brought down quickly. Baltimore, a quick 3-and-out defensively. Michael Huff put the pressure on Manuel, and the Bills will punt it. Joe Flacco and the Ravens offense getting ready to take over, down by 6.
Well, watch number 29 coming. Totally unblocked. Manuel has to rush his throw now. He settles for the short route, and Upshaw is there to finish off Graham. Michael Huff running free at the quarterback.
Bills had the ball for a little more than a minute on that possession. Sean Powell, the punt. Not much of a rush. And a poor punt. They'll keep moving along that sideline. And they spot it at the 44-yard line of Baltimore. 30-yard punt in a close game. Coming up, Subway postgame show, JB and Company, the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Subway postgame show. Joe Flacco has tied a career high with 4 interceptions, but an opportunity for Baltimore to come from behind with 5:43 to go. 4 receivers set. Aaron Williams is not on the field right now for Buffalo. He's got 2 of those interceptions. Shotgun for Flacco. Excellent field position to open up from the 44. Flacco pulls the trigger. Separation. Catch made. Deontay Thompson. And flags are thrown as Thompson took a lick. Brandon Burton, one of the defenders there for Buffalo, and Thompson isn't getting up.
It's going to be a personal foul. Helmet-to-helmet hit on a defenseless receiver. But they're going right after Brandon Burton, who happens to be the replacement for Aaron Williams.
Jim Leonard with a stick.
Hit on a defenseless receiver. Defense, number 35. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
And Thompson is now up, jogging off the field. Take a listen. After the penalty, Baltimore now with a first down inside the 15-yard line. It is a lower back injury for Aaron Williams of the Buffalo Bills. Williams has been everywhere for Buffalo, but now he's on the sideline. On first down, Flacco operating from the gun. Flacco pumps. Flacco out of the pocket. Flacco looking to run, tripped up. Mario Williams makes the play defensively for Buffalo. It'll go down as a sack as Flacco could not break free from the 2-time Pro Bowler.
Well, here he is right here. Ray Rice working on him as well. As Flacco gets out of the pocket, Rice releases on his route. But Williams with enough speed to bring down Flacco.
So back it up after the 2-yard loss. Mario Williams now with 5.5 sacks on the season. 2nd and 12 for Baltimore, under 5 minutes to play. Bills leading it by 6. A running play, the first of the second half. Ray Rice. Spin move inside the 10. 7-yard gain for Rice.
Yeah, it's about time. Just his 4th carry of the day, first in the second half. Just a valuable weapon you just cannot forget about. Number 27.
25 pass plays in the second half. 1 rush for Baltimore. It's now 3rd and 5 for the Ravens. Clark doesn't know the play. Flacco steps and throws. Incomplete. Rice, the intended receiver. Searcy there defensively. Baltimore is down 6 with 4:08 to play, and they send out the field goal unit to cut into the Buffalo lead.
Well, Rice coming out of the backfield on the post route there, but Searcy was all over it. My question is, you've got 6'5" Marlon Brown down near the goal line here, and you're throwing it to a guy 5'8". I like my chances with a taller guy, don't you?
Agreed. Tucker, a 24-yard attempt. He nails it. 23-20 now. 4:04 left.
And that's a win for the Buffalo defense. After the short punt, great field position to start the drive. The long pass down the field to Thompson, the penalty on top of it, and still the Ravens are held out of the end zone by the Bills defense.
Had a lot of action here in Orchard Park, New York. We'll pick things up. Second quarter. Buffalo Bills establishing the ground game. Fred Jackson, the hard cut up the field for the touchdown. Torrey Smith getting in on the act. Flacco, though, picked off 4 times today, including one from Kiko Alonso. Manuel then has it intercepted as Graham comes up with the INT. And here's where we stand. Buffalo, 216 rushing yards. Baltimore has been held to 22 yards on the ground. Flacco has thrown for 326. The 308 reflects the sacks. 4 turnovers for the Baltimore Ravens. And now the rookie E.J. Manuel, an opportunity with 4 minutes and change to go out there and seal the deal for the Buffalo Bills. Tucker on the kickoff, and it's coming out to the 20-yard line.
Well, young E.J. is going to be tested now. It'll be interesting to see the play selection for offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. Really been heavy with the run today, and it's been obviously very good for the Bills. But can they run now and run the clock out with 4 minutes to go in the ball game? That's the big question. Doug Marrone, the former offensive lineman in his own right, that's the emphasis he wants on this offensive football team.
Manuel had his problems last week in a close game against the Jets. He was disrupted by that Jets defense. This is a veteran Baltimore group. On a give, Jackson. Not a whole lot there for Fred Jackson. Give him a gain of 2. Buffalo Bills have played 3 close games coming into this one. They pulled out one of them against Carolina, come from behind victory. But all the games have been decided by 7 points or less. Had a chance to beat New England, couldn't do it. The Patriot field goal with 5 seconds left, and then last week that game was up for grabs and they fall short against the Jets 27-20.
You can see how slowly the Bills are getting to the line of scrimmage, wanting to take time off the clock, but sometimes this will work against you as it kind of kills your own momentum.
Out of the gun. Fake the running play. Manuel loses the football off the juggle, and it's recovered by Stevie Johnson. Could have been disaster for the Bills as Manuel never quite had it off the read option.
Yeah, this was basically a hot potato right there. Heads up by Stevie Johnson to crawl after that ball to recover. This will bring up a very difficult 3rd down and long now for Manuel and the Bills, but you can see they're still working the clock.
Baltimore is not using its timeouts here. 2:44 and ticking. Trusting the defense to make the play here and get the football back, and then save the timeouts for the final drive. Running play, Jackson. Conservative call. The fans react to it. Arthur Jones with a tackle, and the Bills with a very feeble 3 and out.
And we'll see how Sean Powell will do. He's had 2 really poor punts today. His last one just went 30 yards. That gave the Ravens great field position to go down and get a field goal. Now Baltimore will use their first timeout.
Ravens have 2 remaining. They also have the 2-minute warning. 2.5 left on the clock. They'll tack on 2 seconds. So Sean Powell, second-year punter out of Florida State, came in averaging 47.5 yards per punt. The average is hovering around 41 yards per kick here this afternoon.
He's got to be careful not to try to kick this ball too far to give Tandon Doss an opportunity to bring it back. Better to kick it high, let the coverage get down there, and keep Doss from busting a big one.
Doss had the 82-yard punt return for a touchdown last week in the win over Houston. The punt from Powell. It sends Doss backpedaling from the 19. Doss up the field. And And Doss is tripped up as he crossed the 35 by Garrison Sanborn, the snapper. 58-yard punt, 18-yard return. And now Joe Flacco brings the Baltimore offense on the field down by 3 with 2:20 to go.
Flacco has thrown it 46 times today. 24 to his guys, 4 to the other guys. And the Ravens have run the ball just once here in the second half.
Line of scrimmage is the 37. Fans on their feet here at Ralph Wilson Stadium. First down for Baltimore, down by 3. Rush is coming. Flacco pumps. Flacco is sacked. Back at the 28 by Marcel Darius for Buffalo.
Second sack of the game for Marcel, number 99. Just waiting for Flacco to try to get out of the pocket. He went around Gino Gradkowski, the center there. Big play for the Buffalo defense on first down.
Gradkowski, the only change on this offensive line from last year, replacing the retired Matt Burke. 2-minute warning in the fourth in a 3-point game. The imbalance in the play selection this half. 1 rush for Baltimore, 27 passes, and now this is a 2nd and 18 for the Ravens. 2 minutes to go. Baltimore has 2 timeouts to work with. Flacco in the pocket. Nobody home. In the direction of Torrey Smith. Nikel Roby in coverage. This is a decimated secondary for Buffalo. And these guys have played well for Doug Marrone here today.
Nikel Roby getting the start. That time on the crossing route. The crossing route's been really good for Flacco and the Ravens, but not that time.
3rd and 18. Obviously, they're looking at 4-down territory because of the time remaining. 1:56 left in a 3-point game. Flacco throws. It's handled. Torrey Smith going downstairs to get it. And a first down for Baltimore, covering 21 yards. Hurry to the line of scrimmage, a minute 35 to go. Flacco. And the play whistled dead.
Before the snap, we have a replay challenge from the booth. The previous play will be reviewed.
Under 2 minutes. It's all triggered from the booth. So they'll take a look at that Torrey Smith grab. Smith, 5 catches, 166 yards, and a touchdown today. Flacco to Smith to keep this drive going. Will it stand?
Torrey Smith with real strong hands. Watch his right hand get under this ball. And the ball never moves. This has got to be a catch. Jerome Boger about to tell us.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field stands as a completion. First down, Baltimore.
So the cradle by Smith sets up the Ravens 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line.
And we talked about leadership earlier with Joe Flacco was talking about what a great leader that Torrey Smith is turning into. That's the way you lead, by example.
.133 to go. Buffalo up by 3. Flacco has thrown it 48 times here today. And a running play, Ray Rice. Rice is brought down by Darius. 2-yard pickup, just the 2nd time that they've run in this second half. Justin Tucker, career long of 56 last year at Philadelphia, a long of 45 this year. Tucker missed a pair of field goals in week 2 from 50 and 44. 2nd and 8. Flacco rifles it off his back foot. Up for grabs and incomplete. Torrey Smith in a matchup with Justin Rogers. And the clock stops with 1:04 to go in the 4th. 3rd and 8 for Baltimore.
Well, here's the end of this one. It's Rogers right there with Smith. Ball underthrown because of the pressure on Joe Flacco. Big hit by Kyle Williams.
3rd and 8. Just over a minute to play. They handle the rush. Flacco guns. Bobble. Alonso jumps in. Did he get it?
Yes, he did.
Kiko Alonso, second pick of the day. Fifth interception for Flacco. Clark, the intended receiver.
This will be reviewed upstairs because it's a turnover, but the ball played by Darcy in front of Clark, and Kiko Alonso with his hands under the ball with control. Look at the play by Darcy jumping in front of Dallas Clark. And then the effort by the rookie out of Oregon. But Darcy deserves a lot of credit. How about that athletic move for a middle linebacker?
Kiko Alonso, as Clark was battling with Searcy. And what's the call, Dan Fouts? Clean or not?
I think his left hand was underneath the ball when the ball came down to the ground there. You can see his left hand right there. He appeared to have control throughout. This goes back to that Manuel play when he was with the Rams, where they changed the rule that if a player has control of the ball when the ball hits the ground, it is a good catch. In this case, a good interception. Look at the left hand.
Jerome Boger has already seen enough.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field is confirmed.
Kiko Alonso, the second-round draft pick. 4 interceptions on the season. Joe Flacco has thrown a career-high 5 picks. Baltimore has 2 timeouts left. It's not over yet. That's the video that Boger saw under the hood.
Well, and Alonso ought to go over to Denoris Searcy and give him a big high five.
Manuel didn't take the knee. And now they use one of those timeouts. There's still 54 seconds left. Now you could take a safety. That would be one option. Run around with the football as time is running out.
I'm not sure I would trust my punter to run around from this point of the field. He might get caught here, but E.J. Manuel certainly could go back and run around and kill the clock, but there's a lot of time left. I'm not so sure about this strategy of taking a knee right here.
You know, it's great to go into the victory formation, but you got to be sure that you have the victory sewn up. So Baltimore has 1 timeout remaining. Remember, they maintain their timeouts. They elected not to use them on their previous defensive possession. Well, Flacco and the Ravens getting another opportunity here. Manuel. Manny Lawson. Courtney Upshaw over there to make the play defensively. And there's nothing wrong with that hit. He's not taking a knee. He's standing, and then he crouches down, but it's using clock unless you go and get him.
Absolutely. That's a good play by Upshaw. I think John Harbaugh wants to talk about it with Jerome Boger on the sidelines as to how many seconds are left on the clock.
So Baltimore is out of timeouts. There's 40 seconds put on the clock once Manuel is touched down. So you're talking about Baltimore maybe getting the football back with just 8 or 9 seconds, depending upon how this plays out. And that's why Buffalo may elect to do something tricky on 4th down. This is 3rd down. And there's the hit. And the flag comes down.
Yeah, that's the ball game there. Terrell Suggs, a little too exuberant there, taking the helmet off of E.J. Manuel. Just cost his team any chance at all.
And that's going to end it.
Yep.
If it's a clean tackle there, look at what the disparity would have been. 5 seconds or so based on the play clock. Instead, the flag changes everything, and the game is over. And they got to get this under control first before Boger makes his call.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 91, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Well, the call is on Upshaw, but it's 55 Suggs who's going to come in and then just take the hat right off of the youngster.
Should it be a penalty, though, in your mind, now watching it a second time?
Well, I think if the helmet doesn't come off, no, but once the helmet comes off, it's pretty clear that that is unnecessary roughness, especially on a kneel-down type of play.
Suggs pleading his case, but that's it. Another look as Suggs gets to the quarterback. Just a push from Suggs would have stopped the clock. And it would have been fourth down. So now they can go into the victory formation, take the knee. Baltimore has no timeouts left.
Yeah, Baltimore really outplayed today by the Buffalo Bills. Bills more physical along that line of scrimmage, all those rushing yards, totally stopping and discouraging the Ravens from running it all when they were on offense.
So the Buffalo Bills will improve to 2-2. The Ravens, disappointing result here in Orchard Park, will drop to 2-2. Baltimore still making its case, and the officials sorting through this.
I'm not sure what the discussion is all about. They called personal foul, first down. Spot foul, perhaps.
So whatever hope Baltimore had is dashed after the penalty against Terrell Suggs. Boger will come over and explain it to John Harbaugh. But the new set of downs ends this game.
Well, once E.J. Manuel gives himself up, no need for Suggs to go in so aggressively that Manuel's helmet comes off. Clearly a case of unnecessary roughness. And as you said, Ian, it would only have been maybe 5 or 6 seconds left on the clock after the apparent punt on fourth down. But this is a free set of downs and a victory for the Buffalo Bills. Still not sure what the discussion could possibly be about.
And there's a chance that Buffalo never would have punted the ball. If you only had 4 or 5 seconds left, that's a possibility of letting the punter run around Sean Powell and kill the clock. Or let Manuel stay in the game, don't even get into punt formation. Snap the ball and just run side to side. They will need to snap it one more time. Frustrating day for the Baltimore Ravens. Once again getting off to a slow start. Joe Flacco throws 5 interceptions. They've never established the running game. And on the flip side, the Buffalo Bills. Important performance for them and the development of E.J. Manuel in Doug Marrone gaining the trust of these players. 23-20. The final. Buffalo wins it over Baltimore. E.J. Manuel helps lead his team to victory in the ground game. Jackson, Spiller, and company get it done. 23-20. The final. Subway